Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, we are talking about the 1998 movie All I Want to Do, aka S.T.R.I.K.E, with our guest Zack. Welcome, Zack.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have Zack back. Go back, listen to his first episode with us, Get Over It from season 2. And if you want to pause and get to know Zack a little bit better, check out our trailer from earlier this week. But before we dive in, let's get into some
housekeeping. What happened?
I caught you in your unawares.
I disassociated for a second. Sorry.
Because of me?
No, it's just I can't control what the brain be doing up there. Sorry.
No one was at the mic.
Nobody came for the mic. I'll do
We're
it
just
again.
leaving it there.
We could just leave it alone. It's fine.
Yeah. If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here are a few ways that you can.
Did you know writing a review and/or rating us helps us get more listeners? If you want to be featured and help us grow, head to Apple, Spotify, Podchasers, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, or your favorite podcast platform, and please leave us a review.
Please.
We beg you.
We really do.
Do it.
Thank you. And if you want to do a one-time donation to the podcast, if you like what you hear, head on over to ko-fi.com/no-more-late-fees and buy us a virtual cup of coffee.
And don't forget to check out our No More Late Fees merch on Redbubble at nomorelatefees.redbubble.com. Shout out to Rachael for just buying a No More Late Fees mask. It's time to mask up. The winter is coming and all the germies are out. So that's really good purchase, actually. I need to go get one for myself.
Me too, absolutely.
But let's get into the movie.
So during the early 1960s, high school teen Odette Sinclair is transferred, to her great dismay, from a coed institution to an all-girls New England boarding school. After learning that plans are in the works to merge Miss Goddard's school for girls with a nearby boys' institution, she and her sorority sister,
Verena von Stefan.
I couldn't even think of how to say that. Verena von Stefan goes on strike against the school. Throughout, the pair are pitted against the meddling school monitor, Abigail Sawyer. It stars Kirsten Dunst, Gaby Hoffmann, Lynn Redgrave, Rachael E. Cook, Thomas Guiry, Vincent Kartheiser, Monica Keena, Matthew Lawrence, Heather Matarazzo, and Merritt Wever. And it was written and directed by Sarah Kernachin. And it's really hard to find. We ended up finding it on YouTube in pieces.
Yeah.
So
actually, I think it was just on Paramount Plus like a month ago, and I was able to.
It was.
Oh, okay.
It was. Yeah. And it was on Max a while back. And so by the time it was like, where the hell is this thing? So I'm like on TikTok watching a sped up version of the beginning. We both did the best we could with that one. I thought I had it on DVD, but I was wrong.
Yeah, I have it, but it's lost somewhere, but I know I own it. But yeah.
But before we start, let's go ahead and get into our ratings rewind.
So, you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best would play on repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
And same-day rental.
Up your Ziggy with a Wawa brush.
Perfect.
Love it.
So, Zack, I'm going to start with you. What is your Y2K rating of this movie?
It definitely would be would buy it again. For sure. I was obsessed with this.
Jackie?
Upon rewatch, I remembered surprisingly little about this movie. So I would say, I mean, I know we did watch it and we quoted it, so we had to have watched it a couple of times. I'll go with 5-Day Rental.
What? I am shook at this is a Jackie Danielle exclusive movie.
I remember like nothing about it.
But that doesn't mean you didn't love it when we got it. I cannot believe this is happening, but okay.
Drama.
It's a would buy. I bought it. I just think I had it on VHS and I didn't rebuy it on DVD. Hi, Shep. The budget for the movie was $5 million and it made $907,000 plus. So it did not live up to its budget, but this was an indie. It was picked up by Miramax, which isn't a surprise because they were eating up indies at that time for $3.5 million and was given a limited release in the United States. And it was under the title All I Want to Do. But then Miramax found the film's original working title, The Hairy Bird, which alluded to male genitals to be too offensive. So that's why it changed. But it didn't change, as we learn, in, I believe, Australia. So when it was released in Canada and the United Kingdom under the title S.T.R.I.K.E, the Canadian British title became an alternative name for later releases on the US-based digital platforms such as like Amazon, YouTube, and so on. So that's why we keep seeing this like strike versus All I Want to Do. Though with the US title being used in the opening credits, Australia was the only country in which Miramax released the original title. I guess they felt Australians were dirty enough for The Hairy Bird. In March of 2000, the film was re-released in New York at the United Artists in Movie Theater in Union Square, and it grossed about $5,000. The director has gone on record saying that Miramax co-chairman Harvey Douchebag intentionally shelved the film, while Douchebag was initially enthusiastic about the film and told the director that it would screen in 2,000 theaters across the US. The Miramax ultimately gave the film no publicity and distributed the film in limited release, mostly in Canada. The film was eventually acquired by Disney and went straight to video.
It's so funny because I remember when this was, or when I first heard about it, was like, I think it was a scene, like a trailer before, like on a VHS tape that I rented, and I was like, what is this movie? I didn't hear anything about it, didn't know anything about it, and it was called All I Want to Do, and I remember it was already out. They were like, oh, go, rent it now or buy it now, and I went to my local video store and I was like, do you guys have All I Want to Do? And the person working was like, what is that movie? I've never heard of it ever. And it was years before I actually was able to find it. And this movie had no chance, really. When you list everything like that, there's just no way it was going to survive. The changing titles, no publicity, hardly any theaters. Like how would it do well? There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, are we surprised that Big Douchebag didn't want a movie about female empowerment to do well? I'm not surprised in the slightest.
No.
And I think at that time, with so many teen movies, like I don't know if it would have been like huge, but I think people would have gone to see it, especially with Kirsten Dunst and Gaby Hoffmann.
Absolutely.
And I think Jackie and I found it because we were in that pipeline already. It had all the indie girls in it. And I'm sure we saw it from an indie movie, like a trailer.
I feel like it was like Welcome to the Dollhouse or something like that. Or like, oh, well, what's that? Let's go look for it next time.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, there was a lot of lines. We repeated them quite a bit. I do love a boarding school movie.
Me too. Very much so.
Always fun. So, yeah, let's see if there's any fun facts about the cast. So, Monica Keena and Merritt Wever were real life classmates at LaGuardia High School, which is, if you don't know, is the Fame School in New York City.
You guys got that for free.
Loved.
I'm just sad because, like, with these smaller indie movies, it's really, really hard to find any fun facts.
Right.
It was limited, but I was watching videos, searching for the peanuts. Not much was there.
You know, it's funny too, because, you know, in the late, I don't want to just say in the 90s, but, you know, the trend of naming movies after songs of that time that are really big. Because I was watching it and I'm like, why is this called All I Want to Do? Like, I understand on some level, but, and then I'm like, when did that song come out by Sheryl Crow? I'm like, was that why this was called that?
I don't know.
Honestly, because I was like, there's Drive Me Crazy. And then I'm like, I was like, was All I Want to Do like the biggest song of the year when this movie was released?
I don't
Hey,
know.
I don't know. Just something to think about, I guess.
Yeah, because I don't usually sometimes they'll say it, the title in the movie. So I'm like,
Right.
I don't remember them doing that.
Mm-mm.
No, All I Want to Do was released in 1993.
Oh, okay. Then there
I'm
goes
sorry
my big theory.
to dash your
No, you're incorrect. It was actually released years later. This is I
This
shouldn't come on here and lie like that. It's fine. It's fine.
I feel like it's so sad that we never got a Kirsten Dunst, Christina Ricci crossover in a movie. And I feel like if there was going to be one movie where it would have randomly happened, it should have been this one.
Oh,
Even though,
absolutely.
I mean, Gaby should have just said, yo, bestie, come do this movie with me, because I just feel like she would have fit perfectly with the rest of the
Who do you
cast.
think she would have played if she was in this? You think Momo? No, I don't think Momo. I think she would have played
I think she would have done really well as Rachel Lee Cook's character.
Abby Sawyer. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually a really good pick.
Or Merritt Weaver's character.
Yeah, Momo.
Yeah, sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
Momo. Yeah, I think she
Actually,
would have
she
been.
could have played any of them, I think.
Yeah,
But I love Monica Keena as Tinka Parker. She was amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
and
Oh.
her chemistry with Vincent was good.
Mm-hmm.
I
It was.
totally didn't realize that they had been in another movie together as love interest called Crime and Punishment in Suburbia. I've never seen that one, but I remember the cover when there's like so many movies that Jackie and I remember the cover of, but we didn't see the movie from Blockbuster.
Well, what does it look like now?
You're
I'm
looking
actually,
it up.
because I'm on IMDb, so anytime there's a reference, I'm like, quick. I'm like, oh yeah, I know that movie.
Oh,
Whoa.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I have never heard of it, nor have I do not remember the cover. But oh, that's right. She was in Freddy versus Jason. Sorry, it just like it turned something on in my head right now. Because I thought when I was younger, I thought she was the most in this movie in particular, I thought she was so gorgeous. And I was just like,
she's so
oh,
pretty.
right?
But then when she came on Dawson's Creek, I was like, I love her as Abby just being a complete bitch and pushing the boundaries. I was really mad when they killed her off that show because I was just like, man, she could have spiced things up. Y'all are boring, man. Where should we start? Because I know I didn't see the beginning of this movie.
I didn't either. So here we are.
Wait a minute, because I was here feeling so guilty that I hadn't watched it in like a month. And you guys don't even remember it. I can't.
Because we couldn't find it. They literally on YouTube, it was like video 3. That's
where it started.
That's where it started. And we were like, okay, we know Gaby Hoffmann. I think it started with her getting, you tell us if we're wrong, but it started with her getting caught with Matthew Lawrence's character. Is that how it happened?
Well, it opens, and this just shows you how I have too much time on my hands. But it kind of opens in the same way as Dirty Dancing with them driving in a car, and it's her voiceover talking about why she's being brought to the
Okay.
school. And then and then when she arrives at the school, the first person she meets is Abby, I think, played by Rachel Lee Cook. And then I think,
Yeah.
or was it Miss McVeigh? Okay, this is so bad.
I think I think she does meet Abby because Abby take her to
Yes.
yeah.
It literally just popped in my head because they look at the statue and then Miss McVane comes up and then Odette is like, who's that? And then she's like, that's Miss McVane. She's amazing. So yeah, you're right.
Abby, when we meet her, is very much giving my parents' name is on the building and
Mhm.
I live and breathe this school. She would be, I guess, the same thing as like, you know who her equivalent is? Percy and Harry Potter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. She's also like she's not like mean. She's like just more of like a goody two shoes. Like she's
Yes.
very just wants everyone to follow rules. So I feel like yeah, it's very much like Percy, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah.
100%. And I just feel like their contrast is very different because gosh, she's like in love with the school and the other girl's like, F this. I want to get the hell out of here. I need to get laid by my boyfriend. I
Who's
need to
played
do
by Matthew Lawrence.
who we just saw at 90s Con, which
We
was
did.
great.
I think you posted a photo.
We didn't get any of him, but we did get to watch from afar as him and Chili gave each other googly eyes, which was so cute.
That's
so
just
precious.
that's adorable. And also just so like, who would have thought? Like it's such a cool couple.
Would have never guessed it. Never in 1,000 years.
But yeah, so Abby takes her on a tour of Miss Goddard, shows her around the campus, and then I think simultaneously that's when we're introduced to the rest of the girls or the main clique of girls, and that's when they learn that they're getting a new roommate. And I can't even remember where Odette is from, and they're freaking out that she's from there.
New York, I thought.
There we go, New York.
Yeah, she's from New York, and they're already going through her ship, which is hilarious.
Irritates me though to no end because she walked in on them trying on like her hot pants. I don't even know what they are, like her shorts or her.
They're called pedal pushers.
They were like above the knee though. Aren't pedal pushers like down by like your ankles? No?
I don't know. I thought well, I guess you're right. I don't know what the above the knee ones would be called then.
They weren't trying on her girdle. I don't know what they were trying on, but they were just not something you try on without asking.
Right. Yeah. No boundaries.
No boundaries. And then going through her record collection, trying on her clothes, and then of course Odette walks in to find that and is not pleased. And
well, she pisses off Abby before she even gets her room. She's like, I'm not even going to warn you about these heifers that you are living with since you want to be like that, which I think is hilarious because we do see them trying all her shit out. Yeah, I would be hella pissed.
And yeah, and I think what I'm trying to remember the moment that Abby just gets so angry at her. I think Odette starts to smoke a cigarette and Abby just walks right up to her and grabs it out of her mouth and breaks it in half. I was like, try that again.
See what happens.
See what happens.
Catch these hands real quick.
Catch me outside.
Yeah. Abby's a rule follower, but she's irritating about it. Like
very much so.
Yeah.
And then I think as soon as Odette catches them and talks about how miserable she's going to be there, they find a picture of Dennis and they start to tease her about it, to which Odette says those most iconic words, up your Ziggy with a wah-wah brush.
I just want to know where that came from. If I were to ask the director/writer anything, why, where, how, who? Like, is this a reference that someone else said? And what is a zig like? It's like the Spice Girls songs, as a ziggy zig, whatever they say. And like, what is this?
I mean, I don't know what a ziggy is either, but based on context clues, I'm guessing it's a certain part of someone's anatomy. A wah-wah brush? I don't know what a wah-wah brush is.
No.
You know, all I can say is that I'm sure it was probably like a random inside joke that the director or writer had with her friends, and then it just, because I'm sure, just like everyone out there who has these really close friendships, some of your inside jokes are just gibberish and make no sense, but they make you laugh, and I can only assume that that's probably where that came from.
Well, the director, Sarah Nichin, I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. The basis of this movie was her experiences at attending Rosemary Hall, which is a boarding school in Connecticut. It's an all-girls institution, and it merged with the boys' school in 1971. And so during her time at this school, she was in a singing group, and she was classmates with Glenn Close, which is
Oh,
crazy. They actually reconvened the original group that they had to sing the song The Hairy Bird, which plays at the film's end
mm,
credits. But like it makes me wonder what if any of the characters are based on Glenn Close and which one is it?
It's hard for me to decide, and I don't mean this in an ageist way, but to me, Glenn Close has always been 60 and fabulous. And so like it's hard for me to picture her. Like even watching Fatal Attraction, I'm like, well, they de-aged her because she was 60 when they made that movie. I don't know why. There's just certain people that always look, I guess when you get introduced to someone at that age, it's hard to picture them like younger.
Yeah.
But she's still fabulous and she's still gorgeous. But I would say, and this is just speculation, probably Tinka. I don't know why. I just feel like because she's so fabulous. And doesn't in the film, I can't really remember, but doesn't Tika want to be an actress?
Uh, I don't know.
I think I wrote
Yes,
down
yes,
what they all
yes.
end up doing. Man.
Because I remember when they go through when they get invited to the Daughters of the American Ravioli, and they're talking about their goals, and she said, "I'm gonna be a Hollywood and Momo my
Right,
shrink."
right.
And yeah, yeah, yeah.
For a second, I was about to say yes, but then I was like, am I confusing her character
With
with the
Thor Birch.
character? Yeah, in
And
Now
Now
and
and Then.
Then. Yeah. They do give similar vibes.
They absolutely, absolutely. I think, yeah, because I think Momo wants to be a doctor or a chemist or a scientist. She wants to be something that I'm not.
In STEM.
And
She's in STEM
there we
somewhere.
go. There we go. And then Tweenie wants to be a psychiatrist. Or Tweety, is that her name? Yeah,
Tweety, I think.
Tweety, yeah.
Yep.
So
Uh,
many interesting names.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, Tweety.
Tweety wants to be a therapist because she needs therapy
Yeah,
for her eating disorder and
yes.
anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Poor
Her just
thing.
shoving raviolis in her mouth.
But cold raviolis.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Room temperature raviolis.
Straight from the can. Ugh,
No,
no.
I can't. Oh, mm-mm. Mm.
So Odette meets the girls, but
Yes.
she like once she gives that iconic, she tells them off,
Mm-hmm.
they like start laughing so hard because they're like, "What girl? What you saying?" But bonded, and they
Yes.
start to the girls show her the lay of the land. They show her like how to kind of sneak around about breaking the rules.
Right.
And Verena don't play. She's running that school
Mhm.
and taking names pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so pretty much Odette's whole goal is like, I got to figure out how to see my boo
Mhm.
so I can be de-virginized. And that's it. That's my goal right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then I think Verena, I don't know why I guess because now that they're friends, she wants to help her get her wish, or they all take care of each other, I think is what they say, once you're a part of that group. And so since that's what she wants, Verena's gonna do everything in her power to make it happen, which I'm like, what a good friend. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I think even Verena is like, that's your goal, that's what you want to do. And I mean, obviously, the course of the movie, that's literally Odette's arc is coming to realize like what she actually wants. But at this point, I think that's really cool, and it's nice to see like right away this friendship happen. It doesn't take a long time for them to all become super close, and that's very
Mhm.
refreshing. And also like you said, that Verena is like she's the top dog, she knows everything. She's also
Yeah.
not like maniacal or like crazy
No.
with power, which I also love.
Yeah, she just wants her girls to win.
Mhm.
And it's funny between her and Abby, they both love the school immensely,
Right.
but have different ways about going after their goals
Mhm.
to show that. We also learn that Verena is actually having a rough year. Her parents are divorcing. And so her attachment to the school may be a little bit, it's an escape from her reality
Right.
at home. But on Abigail's side, you see it's an, almost like obligation.
Mhm.
But she finds the school gives her the love that she's probably not getting at home because her mom's kind of an a-hole. We
Yeah.
learned that her mom is the leader of the board of the school
Mhm.
and is planning and plotting the school's downfall.
Which,
So it,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Which is terrible from their perspective. But then also
yeah,
watching it as an adult, I'm like, well, if the school is failing, you kind of have to, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, I never really realized that Abby and Verena are basically two sides of the same coin. And I feel like if they weren't so angry at each other, they would be the closest out of everybody, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, again, I think this sets off, I don't know, I feel like Verena just kind of loves to instigate and get on Abby's nerves, which is really fun to watch because her buttons are so easily pushed. Abby is so high strung and just cannot just enjoy any moment. And oh, it's so entertaining to watch them interact.
I really love Lynn Redgrave in this movie, Miss
Mm,
McVeigh, because she, as much as much as Verena could be like a foil to her,
yeah,
she always encourages her, even
right.
in her what would be quote unquote bad behavior, because she understands that Verena is going through a lot of stuff and probably more than even her classmates understand what's going on. And what she tries to do is redirect some of the negative behaviors. And even with Abigail, she knows Abigail's unhinged, and so she does she like rewards her, but not too much,
Right.
she knows all of her girls, and all she cares about and wants is for their success and for
Yes.
them to be like independent women. And I think it's a really good role model for them to see a professional woman who maybe didn't go down the route of having kids and getting married, but being passionate about something and
Of
helping
course.
with the girls. So I
Especially at
really
that
liked her
time.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not something you really experience, which sucks because so many of the past alumni, they raise these girls to be
Right.
independent and strong and smart and intelligent, and then they go out in the real world and don't really get to use all those things or apply all those skills,
Hmm.
and then they don't give back to the school, which is why we're in the predicament that we're in now.
Right. Uh, and in regards to Miss Goddard, no, Miss McVeigh. Let me start over. In regards to Miss McVeigh, what you said was so true, and I also love that, even though she's trying to push Verena and motivate her and you know, give her some kind of guidance, she's also not ignoring when she does something wrong, which that kind of gets on my nerves in movies sometimes where kids misbehave and they don't get reprimanded or and
Yeah,
I like that she's like, I'm on your side, but if you do something wrong, like you're still gonna have to like have consequences. And I
yeah,
think that is also very helpful to her because Verena is obviously lacking any kind of boundaries from her family because they're just so involved in their own divorce, and yeah, so I definitely love that Verena is kind of getting some much needed guidance because even though she is ruling the school, she's very clearly lacking any kind of clarity on the situation, I guess. Like, I feel
yeah,
like she's just so focused on certain things, but she's not really ever looking at the big picture. And I think that's what Miss McVeigh is trying to get her to do. So yeah, I thought that was really, I think Miss McVeigh is a really great character.
yeah. I love her. And it's also interesting because the girls decide that Verena's like, we have a plan to help Odette be able to see her boo.
Hmm.
And so the thing is like all you have to do is get your parent to say that you're going to go sleep over one of the other girls' houses or on a weekend or some sort of trip, right?
Hmm.
So, and they're like, well, I can't get my parents, or the reason they sent me here is because they know that I can't be with my boyfriend. So they're not going to say that I can go to New York or whatever. So they're like, just send a letter to one of your friends who lives in New York so that the postage can match. And so they figure it all out. But then Miss McBain is like, funny. I got this letter from your parents that said that you can go to the city. But I just talked to your mama and daddy the other day. And they didn't send no letters. So what's this about?
Oh,
But she gives props to Tweety, but she doesn't know it's Tweety for the forgery.
mm-hmm.
Because that's Tweety's thing. She can forge something real good. But she's like, yeah, you're not getting out of here. Sorry, New York is out.
And she's grounded. She can't leave the school for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
She's bound to the school.
So then is that before or after? Oh no, is that before or after they go into the town and meet the flat critters? I think that was before because she's obviously leaving the school to go to town.
Yeah, because I think this is where they go to town to
and then
mail.
they hatch the plan on the way back when they're walking. Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about these critters.
Do we have to?
Okay. What is happening? Like, that's all I kept saying when I was watching these dudes. Like, what is this?
Are they like beatniks? Is that kind of what their thing is?
I think so. I think that's what they're trying to get at, but
right.
And maybe that made sense for the 60s, but now it just translates as these dudes are ADHD and very creative at the same time. Like,
isn't there? And they're called flat critters because they take photographs of roadkill.
But then they all have like nicknames that are animals.
They are or they aren't?
They do.
They do. Because like Vincent Kartheiser, I can never say his last name.
I thought it was Kartheiser. I'm way off.
Oh, it may be.
No, I don't know. All I know is he's married to Rory Gilmore.
Yes.
Or was married.
And his name was Snake in
this.
Oh, okay. Snake. That's right. Snake.
So it looks like they all have roadkill nicknames too.
Right, yeah. There's Snake, Skunk, Beagle, and Groundhog.
Oh, maybe that was their first photo.
Maybe. That's a good guess.
Oh,
Danielle, what if one was Armadillo?
Hey, that's a great nickname.
I couldn't talk to him. First of all, I could never be in this group. Okay. Sound like my uncle's friends, because my uncle loved to eat the road critters. One Easter, he decided to tell us how we could clean out a possum system so that we can make sure we can eat it.
No,
that's fantastic.
Beautiful fodder for Easter.
That's just a great alternative.
That was after he taught us how to play craps.
Oh, well, there's a little give and take in that relationship.
He could take it all the way to hell for all I care.
Oh, wait, there's wait, did I say possum? Yeah. So I feel like, well, I was just going to ask, I'm like, if we were in the flat critters, what would your name be?
Ooh, I like this game.
I knew this is where it was going. I don't want it. I don't want to see this, but I would go with like Bad Bunny or something. Like,
oh, okay. I love that.
I think I would be a bobcat.
Oh, what's up, Bobcat? And then I think mine, oh my God. I think mine would just be like Grasshopper.
Ooh, I like it.
A roadkill.
Oh, wait, no, sorry, my bad. I was just thinking of critters. I would just be, what gets run over?
Raccoons.
Oh, I love them. I would call me Froggy. There we go. That's perfect.
Froggy. Little rascals.
Oh, love it. That's right.
Hey Sam, do you love rom-coms?
Absolutely not. They're the worst.
What? Just kidding. They're my favorite thing in the whole world.
Yeah, I love them too, but Love Life has not turned out the way these movies say that it will. I guess put it that way.
Well, which do you think came first? The rom-com or our weird ways of thinking about love and romance?
Well, that's a real chicken or egg scenario, and it seems like something maybe someone should talk about. Maybe us, maybe in podcast form.
Oh my god, you're so right. Each week on the Rom Complex, we pick a topic and then we chat about the romance movies that have affected our lives. For better or for worse. Mostly for worse.
It's the Rom Complex with Shelby Sweeterman
And Sam Frontera.
coming soon. I'm doing it in whale.
Oh, yes. Ah, yes. The love language of the
Whales?
water.
Yeah, the love whale. The love language of the water.
Oh my god.
So yeah, they go into town. The girls are minding their own business, and a car pulls up with a bunch of beatniks in the back. And here comes Snake hanging out the window, and he sees Tinka from a mile away, and he's like, "I'm in love. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is it for me." And Tinka's like, "Something ain't right. There's a screw missing here, but I'm also intrigued.
Right.
I'm also
He's
intrigued."
like that special kind of crazy.
But he means well.
He does. He does. Because, like, obviously, out of the whole group, Tinka is not the brightest.
Yeah.
And I think that might just be like it's not that she's dumb, but she chooses to, like,
Yeah, because I was gonna say I don't think there's really like that, because I don't really think there's like an airhead character in the
Yeah.
group, but definitely like in. But I would also say maybe Tweety a little bit, but more just because she's naive, not
Yeah.
because she's not not educated.
I think Tinka just knows what she wants to do, and she's like, I don't have any need for any of this. Like, I'm not going to put all this effort into the school thing. Like,
Right.
but she's intelligent. Like, she wouldn't have been
Yes.
able to stay in the school if she wasn't.
Right.
But she's just also like zero effort is
Yeah,
given.
her goals are less scholastic than the others for sure.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, she is intrigued by Snake. And the rest of the girls are just like, what in the hell is happening right now?
I would also ask her that too. I'm like, what are you thinking, girl? Like, his name's Snake.
I do love that there's literally like 5 guys in their group, and not one of the other girls is interested in those guys. Only
Not to be mean,
Snake
but who would be? I mean, not trying to be mean, but if you watch no.
One of the actors, I believe, that plays one of the critters, is the guy that plays the video clerk from the big hit Jackie.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I was like, oh, okay. I remember him. So yeah, Odette gets found out. But there's also another problem brewing, because in history class, or is it literature? I can't remember which class it is. I think it may be literature.
Yeah, I think it's English.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because French, and then with Mr. Dewey, right? English. Yeah.
Odette, of course, being as bright as she is, catches the attention of her teacher because she's able to speak very well about one of the subjects. And then she gets you could tell she gets like a weird vibe from her teacher, because he becomes very too close for comfort.
Yes.
I would say. And the other girls are kind of like, you could see Verena already spot that with him, and she's probably already checked him on it. But I think the girls decide that this is an opportunity, because they really have been wanting to get rid of this man and his nasty behavior. I thought the way that they did this character and this whole situation was clever without like really saying it.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Absolutely. It was all intimated, and he was very careful in how he invited her on that trip, and was very and then picked the lint off her sweater.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't like it. And so ironically, the character, Mr. Dewey, is married to another teacher who everyone adores. I think she's the French teacher.
No, I don't. Is she the French teacher? She might have been. I thought they were 2 different ladies, but you're probably right.
Because because I think part of the plan, well, like as you said, they want to get rid of him because
Right.
he is just a lech, as Momo tells Odette. Yeah, he's gross. He's disgusting.
So gross.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily the girls warned her about, like, as much as you want to go to New York, you do not want it to be in that
Right.
way.
Which is just,
Because
I just get
yeah.
such creeps, like chills down my spine because it's so gross. Even the fact that he invited her. Ugh.
Ugh.
Ugh, no.
And he progressively gets worse. So
Yes, he does.
the girls have decided that he's got to go. And they've got to come up with a plan to get rid of him.
Right.
Where did they get that dirty magazine from?
Verena stole it. See, this is what I can't believe I still have this information in my head. Verena stole it from her dad's collection.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they somehow do a switcheroo and get him caught up with this dirty magazine, but Miss McVane,
By his wife. Yeah.
by his wife,
Yes.
but Miss McVane is not falling for it.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if it's his wife, because the fact that, like, the teacher, the French teacher, goes and shows, like, wouldn't you go slap the shit out of your husband first before go telling on him?
Well, I think because the whole scheme to get him caught is he leaves, they steal his briefcase.
Mhm.
Then when he leaves at the end of the period, that's when Odette puts the dirty magazines in there, and I think it was specifically for his wife to find, because they didn't want to lose Mrs. Dewey, but they wanted Mr. Dewey to go. So
Gotcha.
yeah, and then she finds it, and then yeah, I guess she just takes it to, because maybe even she thought, like, there's no way this is his stuff, which is,
Right.
I think she was just probably in denial. I mean, clearly it wasn't, but yeah, I think, and then Miss McVane is very interested in the magazine. She's like, oh, you think you can buy this? Which, go girl, do your thing. We love it.
I also find it I personally would be more okay with my husband just liking dirty magazines versus being an actual
Right.
sexual abuser.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So but it doesn't work.
No.
Miss McVane sees right through it. Which, honestly, though, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, how? How would you even, because why would you assume that they wanted to get rid of Mr. Dewey? You know what I mean?
Well, I think this wasn't their first attempt.
Okay.
I
That
think
makes
that's
sense.
why she was like, this has Verena written all over
Yeah.
it. And it also just seems very blatant, like he would be a little bit more careful
Right.
about
Right.
this. So she does call in Verena, and Abigail, of course, is the one that has to go get her, tell her that she's in trouble. And Miss McVane's like, again, tip my hat off to you with these efforts, but, like, what are you doing?
Right.
And also, do you know how hard it is to get a male teacher
Right.
at all?
To which my thing was like, okay, so just have a bunch of female teachers. Like,
Yeah.
like, isn't that the whole point? Is you're trying to show that, like, I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, but to me, it's like, wouldn't that be the point of the school, is to employ women? Because especially at a high school level, because again, I don't know what it was like back then, but I'm assuming, like any job, it's hard for women, especially back then, to get into the business they want to be. So I'm like, let's employ more women. Let's have an all female, all women school. Let's go for it.
Well, and your track record is one creepy teacher, male
Right.
teacher. So
Right.
maybe just hire women.
Yes.
And you won't have to worry about that.
Right. And yeah, so I feel bad that it doesn't work, because I wish it did, because as
Yeah.
we all know, it escalates further. But so I am at a blank. What happens after this moment?
I
After
have
this-
that
yeah.
Snake shows up yelling for Tinka at the school.
Right.
He
And that's
doesn't he do this multiple times?
he does.
He tries to he, like, really tries to get on campus, and he dresses up as her father.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it like her dad is dead or something?
Yes.
So it's just like, okay. And he just walks out.
Yeah, that's right. And then, oh my God. And then I think, then doesn't he get like no, the cherry pickers at the end. He gets,
yeah, it's the dance when he's like,
right.
so he's trying with no avail to see his girl, and they find out they're going to have a dance with their like brother boarding school.
Mhm.
But they also find out that they want to merge the schools. And it happens because Tweety is going on a late night ravioli run.
After using Ipecac to make herself get sick.
Yeah.
Right. And she falls through the ceiling.
And not
Question
even
mark?
in like they were so rough with this. I was like, damn, she really went through it.
Poor Tweety.
Right? It wasn't like a little dainty like slip through, like no, she went like bam. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, this poor girl. As if she doesn't have enough on her plate already.
And I love how that like the next day when Miss McBain finds this hole, she's like, oh, the ceiling must have just finally caved. Like no
That
questions.
is a girl-sized hole in your ceiling.
So, well, I think so. Then, obviously, prior to this, like, they invite Odette to be part of the Daughters of the American Ravioli,
Mhm.
which is basically their secret society that meets in this abandoned little attic above the school.
Right.
And then that's when they tell her that's when we take care of our own and we're going to help everyone achieve our goals. So then that's where Tweety was going, right, to get more ravioli at their little hideout,
Mhm.
which,
Right.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
is through like a closet, climb up the shelves into the attic.
she was just
And
going full force, and then I guess she didn't have enough room to turn, and she just kept going. Yeah, yeah.
And this
but
scene is where like we get some discourse between I can't remember her name. Kirsten Dunst's character and the group, because she's like, I think that's what it was, where they were just kind of like, we have to be, if there are boys in the school, then we have to like wear makeup and
Mhm.
girdles and like
'Cause
giggle and flirt and
right.
do all these things. And she's like, no, we just want to be women and want to be educated and not
Yeah.
have to worry about all that crap.
also Momo gets really upset because this is going to hurt her chances
Right.
to get into a really good school, because there's obviously going to be more competition.
Mhm.
And it's going to be, most schools will limit how many people they will take from one high school. So this is really going to affect her chances.
Do you remember the name? What's the name of St. Ambrose, right? St. Ambrose Academy. I think that's the boys' school that they're gonna merge with.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so they, as you said, originally it was just gonna be a dance, and then Tweety finds out that the dance is actually just a way for the faculty and the administrators to see how well they do together. And then if it goes well, then obviously they'll go through with the merger of the two schools to save the school from, because as you said, it's literally decaying all around
Right.
them. And
Yeah.
yeah, that whole conversation that they have where they're all arguing about the validity of this choice, like it's so well written, and it's so, even now, it's like you can take that scene and put it in a movie today and it would fit so perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're still seeing so many institutions kind of go through this and struggle.
Yes.
Yet, so you see Abigail's mom is like, look, I've been floating this school for a long time and I'm like over it. And Miss McBain has been trying her hardest to keep everything going, and she fights for the school, for the girls.
Right, because she doesn't want it merged at all.
No.
But isn't it weird? Did anyone notice that like Abby's mom and Rachel Lee Cook's character is kind of like what Kirsten Dunst plays in Mona Lisa Smile, with her mom being on the board? Isn't that so crazy? I was just thinking about that right now, and I'm like, they're basically, wait a couple years, she plays the same character.
100%. I saw a clip from Mona Lisa Smiles and I was like, oh my God, that's right. There is a lot of parallels to that movie in this one.
Yeah, for sure. And did the speech that Kirsten Dunst gives, where, as you said, you have to blitz the zits and spray the pits and push up the tits, and like, iconic. Where was the Oscar for this?
Right?
But didn't it remind, like, it just read so Greta Gerwig to me. Like, it felt like Joe's monologue in Little Women, or even America Ferrera's in Barbie. Like, it was just it was so good. I loved it. And it really reminded me of like how like a really well-written movie is truly timeless. And I feel like that scene was definitely like a timeless aspect of the film for sure.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I love how they come up with the plan is to ruin the boys, but they were strategic about it because they were like, okay, we're going to find somebody on the board has a kid at the school. That's the kid that we're going to make as an example and screw them over, because it's definitely going to affect them even more. So they pull the names of the board and they find out that the grandson of one of the board members
The
is their
trustees,
target. Yeah. So they work their magic about trying to get Verena paired up with him, actually.
And this is, as you said, really quick though, that this is when the group actually fractures, and I think it's Odette and Tinka who want no part in this scheme anymore because they actually want the boys to merge with them. And so now it's just Momo, Verena, and Tweety. I think Tweety's still on the
I
side
think
of them. Or does
Tweety
she?
actually, I mean, she's kind of in the middle, but she
Right,
also wants the boys because she's
yeah,
boy crazy,
right.
you know, and
Because I couldn't,
so
I was like, did she actually? Because when the whole thing happens, I don't think she's part of the scheme at all, but she's also not actively against it. She's just there. Poor
yeah.
Tweety. I mean, this poor child. She's so sweet and oh, she's the cutest.
And the boys are horrific to her, what she has to endure
Oh
at
my
the
God. Well,
dance.
so we're at the dance now, right? This is when,
Yeah.
which that I love that little montage of everyone getting ready.
Yes.
Oh, it's so fabulous.
And I think we missed where they dye Abby's hair blonde. Did we miss that part?
Oh, right. Oh, that is
As,
right.
as
They
a
put,
prank.
yeah, they put peroxide in her like
Yeah.
rinse, and then that's right. Again, oh, I
Poor Abigail.
right? And I mean, she is very snooty, but again, she's
Yeah.
not actively trying to like do something to catch. It's just they're misbehaving, and it's like, well, if you're not following the rules, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do my job and I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
on you.
Right.
But yeah, so then the dance, now that they know that the point of the dance is to see how this is gonna affect everybody, they're like, okay, well then, like as you said, our goal is to just mess this up completely and show how terrible these boys are. Which, as you said, they're not. It's not that hard to do because they are terrible.
Well, they get a bunch of alcohol to spike the punch. That's
Yeah,
one. They put a bunch
Momo.
of,
Yeah,
yeah, go
she
ahead,
brews
sir.
it. Oh no, I
Yeah.
was gonna say Momo brews it because she's like a chemist, right? Or she's trying to be a chemist.
Yeah.
Whew.
Then they put a bunch of like beer bottle, wine bottles, whatever, alcohol bottles in the bus to explain. And yeah, she drugs them, actually. It's not
Right.
even like they're really drunk per se.
Oh yeah. It's like
And
doesn't she say it's like 80 proof or whatever? Like it's so strong.
Yeah.
Ooh, I couldn't even imagine.
so yeah.
And then Vera, is that her name? I don't know why I'm botching her name. So
Who's Vera?
Verena. I
Oh.
know
Okay.
We knew who you meant. Let's just call her Kirsten.
Yeah. She gets Frost, the one that's the grandson, alone, and she just keeps force feeding him Midol and like Midol and Coke because Coke enhances the effects of Midol.
Well, it
Well, I
actually
don't think it's not Midol.
it's not.
She
She
tells him it's Midol.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And
one of
then-
them took some real drugs from their parents, and that boy is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but he confesses that he wants to get kicked out because it's too much pressure for him to be in the school with his grandfather being a donor and things like that.
Right.
So then she kind of is like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to do this to you. But then it's kind of too late and she's already drugged him.
But he says really nice things to her
He
in
does.
his drug state. But I do want to rewind back to the fact that Verena had this all plotted out, but Abigail throws a wrench in this because she requests to actually have this guy. And they said they did it by height, but
No,
Um,
Abigail was like, oh, you really you dyed my hair? Okay, I'm gonna take your boo. Like, this is how it's gonna go.
but Abigail's so easy to read that she's able to kind of like distract her and steal her boo anyways.
Yeah, doesn't she knocks into her, so she falls and gets dirt on her white tights, and it's like, oh, you gotta go change. And I'm like, can you imagine? Like, I could never imagine having to go change my whole outfit. I honestly would have just been like, well, whatever. there's grass on my knees. Let's go party. I don't care. Oh. But yeah, Verena, as you said, she's the mastermind. She is so like 10 steps ahead of everybody. And by the way, isn't Frosty or Frost, sorry, or they call him Frosty.
Yeah.
Isn't he from The Sandlot?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't he Smalls? I can't believe
Yeah.
that. It's so crazy.
Love that. I love that connection. But as like she's with him, like you said, she's 10 steps ahead, but the thing she didn't see coming was Frosty. She didn't see herself liking him.
Right.
And they end up snogging, making out. And of course, Abigail finds them. And they're in
Because
that's
aren't they in Abigail's room?
Yes. And she's got, what is it, a Liberace? Who does she have a poster of in her room? I think it's like Liberace or somebody, like a piano player or something.
So she wasn't trying to be, but wasn't the plan, it wasn't originally supposed to be Verena in the bed with him, right? It was just supposed to be him in the bed?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then she ends up just kind of falling for his charms, and then that's when it all goes south.
Yeah, she ends up, she doesn't expect Abigail to catch them there. I
Right.
think that's what throws everything off. So they're messed up. Then the other girls are like down on ground zero at the dance, while Momo is at least trying to get
drug the entire school.
Right. But there's a group of guys. So the guys are, the guy who's partnered with Tweety is actually excited because she has stuffed her bra, so he thinks that she is stacked. And he kind of like attacks her. Not even kind of, he does.
He does.
And then is disappointed when she's not, when he finds out that she has stuffed her bra. And
it's a really
not
gross,
great scene. Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable. And again, it's done very well, and it's, I think he like pulls out like you said, he pulls out the tissue paper, and then he has a friend who I think is Bobby from X-Men, I'm not sure, but he has the friend waiting by with a camera.
Yes.
And then he flips her around and lifts up her. Oh, it's horrible.
Yes.
It's horrible.
Yeah, they embarrass her to no end. And then she comes crying to Tinka. As this is happening, we find out that I was gonna call them rascal flats. The critter.
Fine. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
The critter gang, whatever their name is, they have
I'm sorry, rascal flats.
The flat critter.
It fits. Isn't the song "Life is a Highway" about eating roadkill? It's fine. It's fine.
The flat critters have taken a few of the guys and beat them up and taken their clothes so they can sneak in. So of course they could see. So Snake could see Tinka, and Tinka is trying to, comfort Tweety, but also find the guy because she tells her who it is. And she's looking for him. And then she sees her boo, and she realizes that the guy that they beat up was the guy that actually hurt Tweety. So she's like, you know what? Bonnie and Clyde, you and I.
Right.
Ride or
I
die.
think what happened to Tweety was enough for Tinka to switch sides and is like, no, I don't want them here anymore.
Yeah.
And so now everyone except Odette is on Team Verena, but Odette is kind of like, I think, oblivious to everything because she ain't there. Where'd she go?
She's in their secret hiding space. They have reached out to her boyfriend, again played by Matthew Lawrence, and they told him how to get to the secret place. And they have like a uniform for him so that he looks like he's one of the boys, so that they can get to Dennis to knock in the boots or whatever. And poor Odette, like, she gets buyer's remorse when she realizes, like, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore.
Let's just talk.
Yeah.
What do you know about me? What do I know about you?
Right. It was more of just the idea of finally doing it. And then I think being around all these wonderful peers of hers, she kind of realized that there's more to life at that point for her.
Yeah.
And then I think that's, as you said, like, she starts talking to him and she's like, well, wait a minute, maybe it's not maybe we're not as meant to be, or maybe this is not the most perfect thing. On top of that, he's supposed to bring rubbers, and instead he brings contraceptive foam. Like, what? Oh my God. And then he pulls out the canister. I just remember this because it always made me laugh. He pulls out the canister and it's like, first of all, it's like this bit. It's huge. And then there's like a syringe. And what did he think? That she was just gonna sit there and insert herself with foam? And then just oh my God, it was so cringe, but in the best way.
And they get to talking. They realize that, it's okay. They can take things slow and get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. But then, of course, they are interrupted by Skeevy McGeevy, their teacher. Chester, the molester, walks in. And the fact that he looks so happy catching them this, and the absolute fear Odette shows in her face when she is begging Dennis,
don't leave.
Don't leave her here. Which, like, Dennis is so concerned about, like, oh, I'm caught, like, but like he's like he doesn't put two and two together that Odette is not dressed pretty much
comfortable. Right. I think maybe just to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, obviously he doesn't know the deal with Mr. Dewey so much. I think he probably in that moment just thought, oh, we're gonna get in trouble. She's gonna get expelled. Like, I think maybe that was kind of what he was thinking of. And then I do recall, like, right when she's telling him not to leave, he starts to like usher him out, and then he tries to stop a little bit. He's like, well, wait, and then just closes the door on him, which is like so scary. And so,
there were candles, let me tell you.
Oh yeah,
I would have burned that place to the ground first before that man touched me.
Honestly, just go run back and jump through the hole that Tweety fell through, and then you're out of there.
It's the escape hatch.
It is. It really is. And
but
I would say, like, prior to that moment, as we talked about earlier, like, it was very ambiguous, like his disgustingness. And then at this moment, it's really when it's like, no, there's no ambiguity. He is a disgusting human being, and he is there for one reason. Like, he found his moment, and he's gonna seize this moment, which is awful.
Well, he tells her she should be punished, and maybe they can make a private arrangement.
No, disgusting.
Jesus.
And how does she get? Is it
the rascal flats come running through?
Which, how did they? Why were they there? They saw Dennis, right, leave?
I think they saw Dennis leave,
like come out of the door, and then they're like, oh, what's up there?
They're like, oh snap. I think Dennis mentions that the teacher catches them, so they're like, oh shit, and so they go to help. So the rascal flats run in, beat him up.
Rascal flats.
They dress him in women's clothes or something, and they do some, and they drop him through the escape hatch so he's locked in there. So a lot of shit is happening. Everything's going on.
And because once they drop him in there, that's when his wife and Miss McVane walk in, and I think she's like, not again, or something to that effect of like, this is it. And
I'm done with it.
Right.
With you. You're the worst.
And just like that, the Mr. Dewey problem is gone.
Yeah.
It's taken care of.
Miss McVane, I think as soon as she sees him, it clicks what the hell's going on here for her.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Miss McVane actually finds the head. I don't know if you call him it's not headmistress, but I don't know what you would call him.
There we go.
Thank you. She finds him, and she's like, what is with your boys? All this other stuff. This is despicable. They leave or whatever. And obviously, what's his face is like done. He's getting kicked out of school. Verena is done because she got caught with a boy. That's like no coming back from that.
Isn't there isn't there a whole sequence when they're singing and they just start throwing up each other?
Right.
Choir.
Yeah.
Momo put something in their drink to induce vomiting. Yeah. Right. And they're supposed to perform, and they all just start throwing up. And that's when they go to the bus and they see all of the alcohol and whatnot. So
yeah, the bottles. Yeah, disgusting. I don't know what this obsession with putting vomit in movies. Can we just go to every studio and say we don't need it? You can make us Like, just have them do it off camera. It's fine.
Right.
We don't
It's
need to
not
see it.
funny. It's not
It's not
cool.
funny.
It's gross.
It's so it's so gross. I was just thinking because our last conversation in Get Over It when he throws up in the punch. Like,
Yes.
oh,
I
right?
don't know what's worse, is the throwing up in the punch scene or the scene in She's All That where there's pubic hair on the pizza and he has to eat it. Like
Okay, I'm gonna be
both.
honest. It's the vomit. It's the vomit. No matter what, it's the vomit, and I will never ever be okay with it. I just don't. It's like the three scenes the vomit scenes that have traumatized me is like this, Get Over It, and then Stand By Me when they have that whole
Mhm.
pie eating contest thing.
Mm.
I can't do it. It's gross. We need to start a protest. No more vomit scenes in
Can that be
Uh,
a part of the agreement for the WGA?
I'm literally gonna go put that in there.
No more vomit scenes. So yeah, Momo's very pleased with herself because she did, tip your hat off to her.
Yeah, of
She got
course.
shit done.
Mhm.
Verena got caught. Dennis is out,
Yes.
but Odette is happy that she's saved by her friends. Rascal Flatts better than ever, ready to
Yeah,
go
we
on
give
tour.
them a lot of shit, but they're actually pretty decent guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
God bless the broken road that led
Goodbye.
them straight to Mrs. Goddard's.
But then they find out that all the hard work that they did really doesn't do anything, that they're gonna vote
Right.
and it's still gonna probably happen. Verena does get kicked out, and so she has to leave, so they say goodbye to her. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh, that's
sad.
right. Yeah. She's not there for the final big old
Mm-mm.
protest.
No, she's gone. And this is when Odette kind of stands up,
Yeah.
takes on the position we probably would have seen come from
Verena.
Verena.
Yeah.
But before Verena leaves, she kind of, she seems happy and content. Like feels like she's in a solid place. And she realizes that maybe she was a little stuck and that she had kind of like a not so healthy relationship with the school.
Yeah.
And this is probably what she needed. Plus, she likes her new boo. So, and they're going to, end up going to school together.
Right. Oh my God, that's right. I can't it's so funny how much stuff is being like put back in my mind. How exactly does the protest start? Because I remember that they find out that it's going to happen anyway, or the vote is going to happen. And I can't recall if the protest is because they want to be able to vote on it as well. Is that why they're protesting?
Yeah, they want to be able
Right.
to have
Okay.
a say in their education and in the school. And they plan pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And Odette kind of becomes a leader.
Mhm.
And all the girls, even Abigail, goes against her own mother
Mhm.
because this is just not what they want. So
Right.
they do a lock-in essentially. And it's the last day of school where all the parents are coming to get the kids
Mhm.
and they're like outside and they can't get in. And of course the school only has 3 old ass security guards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they really can't do much. The girls have blockaded the entrances and whatnot. And then when the cops come and then they call the news crew, actually, the girls are, again, very savvy.
Yeah. So they do the lock-in.
Yes.
And
Right.
it's kind of interesting to me for your main character. I guess, I mean, so Gaby Hoffmann is essentially the lead of the film. Odette is the audience's like surrogate. Because I was gonna say it's so strange for Kirsten Dunst not to be in like the most pivotal moment of the
Yeah.
movie. So I find that kind of odd. I can see why, because that way you have the other girls finally step up and like realize what
Yeah.
Verena's been trying to fight for so long. But I do wish she could have been there. I think it would have been fun.
Yeah. But Odette, she gets up there. She gets the horse club. They all have horses to.
Oh yeah.
They take the sheets and they make messages. They call the press, so the press is there along with the police, and the parents are like, get through there. And they're like, this is not looking good. We're not about to beat down some girls on national television. You crazy? So the girls are ready they're like, we got enough ravioli to be down here for a while. Okay.
Oh, no offense.
Somehow
If I was one of those girls, no ravioli For me, I'm leaving. Bye, you guys. Good luck with your school.
Somehow, like, they have regulators mount up on horses. Like,
Right? They do not play. They
They
do
don't.
not play.
and they want the
Ah.
bylaws amended, and they want a student representative on the board.
Yeah.
Right. Which
And
is
then-
fair.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I think is interesting because obviously the director writer, this is like wishful thinking for her because her school did have to merge with the boys' school.
Right.
So it's really nice that she's able to kind of like say, this is what I wish would have happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, they do vote to keep it girls only. My question is, cool, but still you have no money.
Right.
Well, no. So all the girls, the students dig in their pockets, their Christmas money, their whatever, I think they even say their trust funds.
Wow.
They like give money. It's not a lot, but they give. And so that's when Miss McVeigh says to the parents, because they're in the chapel, I think, she addresses them and say, look, if your girls were able to dig and find money, I think everyone here can do the same. And so
Mhm.
the parents actually start giving money, alumni start giving money. So they are able to raise the money needed to do this, to keep up the school and whatnot. So the girls inspire the adults
Mhm.
with their
Love it.
efforts.
Love it.
And then Tinka sneaks out to snake the leader of Rascal Flats.
Uh-huh.
Well, her mom is in her room and her mom is just like talking to her Leigh, and then you hear him yelling for her and she goes out the window because he's on one of those, what are those things?
Like a
I call them
cherry
cherry pickers, but
Yeah.
let's just say cherry picker.
You
Sure.
sure? Yeah. So she climbs out the window to go be with him in this cherry picker. I'm like, y'all ain't got nothing but money and time out in these streets.
So then they ride off into the sunset, literally, together. Literally. And then also it's kind of a great way to like close out Odette's arc, because I think in the beginning she made it very clear she wants to get into politics. So I
Mhm.
think this was definitely her finally being able to put all that into practice. But yeah,
And Verena does come back. This is the scene.
Oh, right.
She does come back with her boo. He in his wonderful sports like car. I don't know what it was. Sorry, Jackie. I couldn't find any info on that one. But they roll up and she's like, great job. I taught you well, kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
This is when we learn that they're going to be going to another school together, a co-ed
Mhm.
school and
Right.
whatnot. So we do get to see, and the movie was saying like seeing Verena, which is nice.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad they brought her back, because then it would have
Yeah.
been very weird.
Yeah.
And then the last part of the movie, or the very ending of the movie, is like what they all become after this endeavor. So Verena starts Moi magazine, which she talked about in one of their meetings. Odette does become a congresswoman. I wrote Tinka came out.
Yeah.
This is true.
We
Tinka
gotta
comes
ask Lynn
out.
close.
It turns out she wasn't looking for a snake, she was looking for a beaver, and that's how it goes.
Still part of the flat critters. See what you did there, and I appreciate it.
Teresa Tweedy becomes an adolescent psychologist.
Love that.
And then Momo, this one's my favorite, develops the first male oral contraceptive.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
No spray contraceptive. Wonderful.
And then Abby becomes a radical activist, and she's in prison serving a sentence for a 1970 bank holdup.
So this one, I will admit, still makes me upset, because they make it a point to show Abby finally like coming full circle and realizing that she was like on the wrong side, and then she's like, tells her mom, up your Ziggy with a wah-wah brush.
Mm-hmm.
As you do. And
Right.
So then I'm like, yay, like she's one of them. And then when this happened to her, I'm like, oh, I feel so bad.
But she's still living her truth. I
That's
mean,
true, that's true. But I'm just
Yeah.
like, not Josie.
And that is All I Want to Do, aka S.T.R.I.K.E, aka Harry Bird. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
We did it, y'all.
we did it.
yeah.
Another fun fact is that Nora Ephron produced this movie, so we can count this as a Nora Ephron movie, by the
Right.
way, which
Yes.
I love. I love that for us.
Mhm. Oh.
But before we get into our ratings, Zack, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on social again, in case they missed it?
If you missed it, how dare you? I am fine. Well, I'll get over that. I'll forgive you. Everyone can find me on Instagram at the Mighty Zack and on TikTok under my handle Zacky Quacky Tacky.
And you guys can check us out at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Threads. And let's get into those ratings. We're going to start with you, Zack. How would you rate this movie in present time?
I am such a fan of coming of age movies, and I feel like this is a solid one. I don't think that there's not really much I would change about it. I think it still holds up. I think it has a lot of modern themes that are still relevant today. So I would buy it again for sure.
Jackie?
I'm going to stick with a 5-day rental. I did enjoy my rewatch. And Danielle?
I need to buy it. I don't know where mine is, so I'm going to say would buy it again because clearly I had it. I don't have it anymore. I didn't have a problem with, it's a white feminism movie, but I still liked it.
Mm-hmm.
What can I
And it
say?
had Rascal Flats in it. What
Right.
more could you want?
This is where they started. It's really cool to see them at the beginning of their journey.
It's their origin story. I love a good
that's
origin
really
story.
what it was. Wasn't that the fourth title? It was just called the Rascal Flatts story.
Rascal Flats, hit it again.
I was trying to think of another one of their songs to make a joke in it.
Oh, mine was so bad.
Too.
I was just gonna say, wasn't it called the Little Rascals Flats?
Oh,
I have one of their CDs, and that's because of your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Your sister really got into country music at one point.
She did.
And
I've been to a Rascal Flats concert with her.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, Heather.
And recently, the same concert, weird little concert I went to where I saw Coolio a week before he died.
Oh, right. He was the lead singer was there.
The lead singer of Rascal Flats was there singing too. It was such an eclectic group of people.
Wow. It sounds like it.
It was bizarre. Uncle Cracker was there.
How in America did we get a man to name himself Uncle Cracker?
Wait, is Uncle Cracker the one who's saying, "Follow me, everything is all right"? Is that
yes.
him? Okay.
Yes. And then part of Naughty by Nature was there.
Oh,
it sounds like a fever dream that didn't actually happen, but I promise it did.
Yeah, you made all this up.
Tell me this isn't same character, different font.
Okay, tell me.
The lead singer of Rascal Flats.
Uh-huh.
The lead singer of Smash Mouth.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Uncle Cracker.
Yep.
And the guy from Drives, and
Guy
some
Fieri. I was just gonna say that right now. I was gonna be like,
tell me you don't put them in the same room, and you're a little
TikTok,
confused.
Danielle.
It is. Put Mark McGrath like circa Scooby-Doo when he had the blonde hair also, and it was spiky. Perfect. From what was his band? Sugar Ray?
Sugar Ray.
There we go.
Yeah. I was about to say Sugar Fly, but that's not right.
He was gonna fly, or he just wanted to fly.
Right.
That's where
every morning, there's a halo hanging over
from the corner
of my girlfriend's proposed bed.
If you want to join the sing-along, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601 and MLF 909-601-6653. Twat us at the Twitters, hem us at the Threads, or leave a message on our Spotify for Podcasters account, and you could be featured on a future episode. Thank you so much, Zack, for joining us. We had a blast, and you are welcome anytime.
Anytime.
I can't wait. I'm coming back again for sure. Can't get rid of me.
And as always, be kind and rewind.